like addicts. We watched rockets fly overhead like fireworks in the night sky. The sirens' blare became a normal occurrence, but none of that mattered. What mattered were the lives of our soldiers in Gaza. Our friends, family, brothers and sisters were tunneling through Gaza, and we didn't know if they'd make it out. Sam died. He died, and all we could do was huddle together under our sleeping bags under the concrete shelter and pray. Nu Hamas al-Hazain Shalit Lama Lama! Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Ahad. I was yet another lost soul, blindly traveling 8,000 miles to the Jewish homeland. Most told me I was nuts, but I already knew that. See, I was a rebel of society, a college dropout. And soon enough, I'd be the proud owner of an M16. Who knew I'd land myself in Israel? But I guess I realized I was either going to rot in my misery or do everything I could to regain my sanity. And maybe, yes, maybe joining the Israeli army with only the foggiest recollection of Hebrew school level language capabilities was a bit drastic, but I think it was just the right touch. My draft day arrived. All right, agenda. Pee, brush teeth, shower. All right, put clothes on. 6:35. I've got time. See, Israelis, they're always late. Not in America anymore. We drove a whopping 2 miles to this ginormous base that looked like it could house an entire community. It was there that I would wave goodbye to my life and where I'd hug it to death once I regained it after 2 oddly wonderful years of doom. They're here, they're here, they're finally here. The Israelis are coming, the Israelis are coming. All right. Okay, no, all right. Blow your kisses, shove breakfast down your throats, and let's go. Names. Names are being called. All right. Listen closely when they can't pronounce your name for the life of them. My name was called. Grab your stuff. No, okay, what am I doing? What the hell am I doing? No, I'm getting on the bus in a timely manner because I'm an American. Excuse me. Excuse me. Slicha. Two shots, one fingerprint. A horrendous ID picture. Scan my palms and fingers. What is this? The CIA? All right, what's next? Uniforms. Throw on the green, and I'm a soldier. Well, kind of. Shoes, check. Shirt, check. Beret. Dog tags. Check. And now, now we enter the long hallway of excited girls dressing in their very first uniforms. too. But yes, the pants, they were they're a bit too big around the waist. But rode up us, because whoever designed these forgot that we were women. Maybe that's the point. But the combat boots, those made up for everything. So we laced up our boots, cinched our pant legs, buttoned shirts, check collars, and, well, threw on our berets. And I'll say, we looked pretty badass. Alieleng! Eser, Tesha, Shmona, Sheva, Shesh, Chamesh, Arba, Shlosh, Shtayim, Achad. בשתיים כולם בסטטי, לא, לדבר. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. מדברה? לא, לדבר. תעבדו, מה אתן חושבות? שזה מפחיד. מה יש לכם אף אחד לדבר? אני אליי. Our sergeant was the prettiest wicked witch in the Middle East. Yet she scared the shit out of us. תעבדו! So we'd stand scrambling to get up, with the dirt and rocks off of us, and stand still as statues. But when one of us fucked up, Ma'at osa! Kulan aladayim! 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My commander, well, see, his name was Sam, and he was a lanky, American-looking teenager. And yes, there's a big difference between American and Israeli. See, we're white, they're tan. We have straight-ish hair, they've got curly hair. Think Moroccan upper class, speaking Hebrew. Sam was brilliant at hiding his American origins from everyone but me. Speak to me in English. Lama. Why? Well, for starters, your name is Sam Mendes. Sam Mendes. Who the fuck in the entire land of Israel is named Sam Mendes, if not for an American? You can't tell anyone. Scouts on there. Hi. Oh my god, English. I couldn't inhale enough smoke into my lungs to relieve all the fears dissipating at once. And so I said, hi. What's up? We spoke as though we'd known each other for years. We had an instant connection due to our hunger for someone to understand us, a break from the struggle of trying to express ourselves in a language that had limited expressive vocabulary. And we proceeded to talk about America. Do you remember that show, Fairly Odd Parents? Oh my god, yes. Don't you think Gaul reminds you of that one military theory? What was his name? Run, go, run, go. And what about Cat Dog and Rocket Power? Those shows were the best. But you know what I missed the most? He missed that green, delicious, bone-deteriorating beverage that is Mountain Dew. I missed English, and my food cravings resembled that of a stoner. But I tried to forget about everything. All the shitty moments on base, the cans after cans, tuna fish and stale pasta, the struggle to pick up on lectures, the broken Hebrew. I forgot everything in that moment. Because that moment with Sam, well, it was everything. Now, there's this paper. This paper, it means the world to me. Sam gave it to me on my first day here. It's a reminder of what it means to be a soldier, and it outlines it right here. I knew I was coming here to be someone, but I don't think I knew who. But there's something about standing here, in this country's uniform, knowing you're doing something great, Now, I may stutter a little too often when I speak Hebrew, and I'm still learning the Israeli way. God, do I love this country. Now, this paper, it didn't mean anything to me when I first received it. It was just a giant paragraph of gibberish, and I could fill in the blanks with every new word I acquired. And I began to understand it bit by bit, and maybe that's how it was supposed to be. As my devotion grew stronger, and the more Hebrew I began to understand, the more this paper described exactly what my life had become and who I was proud to be. Now, although this paper, it reads for a male, here in Israel we're a team. No man and no woman is stereotyped. We didn't have much, but we lived for the good, we prepared for the worst. We were family. We were Tzava Hagana LaIsrael. Sad. I could taste freedom. Freedom from training and working like dogs. I thought it couldn't get any better, but it always did. March, until my legs fall off. I can march in my sleep. There were these ignorant, I won't name countries, assholes, who had a sudden regular burst of entitlement. Entitlement that cost us all sleep. What I'd give for those sweet hours of sleep. They herded us Americans with words like, "Suka blia!" We were right on top of our game, and we'd respond back with, "Suka blia, Rusty!" The Cold War kept us on our feet, ready to defend, sleepless, but entertained. And due to their ignorance, we slept lightly, reminded of each and every damn step taken that day like a broken record of a nightmare. No longer did the word Sod remind me of my upcoming freedom, but instead of my impending dread of having to lift my knees to my stomach one more time. But for one of the last times, my commander yelled, "Simuet, Pesakashim, Mizranim, Bakukim, Vavestim, Po." So we handed over all of our ratty gear and tried to look forward instead of back. But I stood in line, waiting to hand over my well-adorned sleeping bag. And I started to cry. I cried for all the life-changing moments we shared, for the family we'd become, for all the shitty moments that we instead turned into something hysterical. I cried out of happiness, because although basic training sounds like hell, it was the best 3 months of my entire life. One of the last times I saw Sam, I still laugh thinking about that day. You should have been there, but I was going through a stubborn frustration at the Army period. That's the elegant way of putting it. See, this particular time, I was on a hunger strike. What I really wanted was some cookies, but you know what, that's beside the point. So we sat having an argument from afar, using violent head movements, debating going in to eat. I won, and he braved the walk of shame over to me. Hi. Can we go eat? I'm hungry, and I still like my food. What are you writing? Does that say my name? It says Sayanet. Let's go eat. Come on. Your hunger strike is gonna kill me. What's for lunch? Schnitzel. Give me your notebook. Let's go. I'm hungry. There are tater tots. Speaking of cookies, one Shabbat I will never forget, Sam made my entire day. We sat looking out across at the ropes course when he turned to me and said, "Boy, come on, let's go break some rules." I looked away, and the next moment I looked up, and he was dangling from the top. And we just smiled at each other. I tried to forget about everything. All the long, hard days, the homesickness. I tried to forget about it all. We laughed at my inability to climb up, our rule-breaking shenanigans, and for the sake of having a companion. We walked back, and I stood at attention, peering around to make sure that no one had seen us. Malien! Shabbat Shalom, Rafael. Shortly after that, Sam died. Sam died. So, where there were 1 or 2 funerals held a day for the past month of the war. Today was Sam's. We arrived as a team, missing our leader. We floated through the crowds with Sam. Although he was gone from our lives, in one moment the entire place silenced. Sam fought so the children of Israel could have hope, to live the way he himself had been raised, without having to run to shelters because of sirens, or without fear of terrorists tunneling through their neighborhoods to kill them or to kidnap them. And look around. Tens of thousands of people have gathered to pay their respects, and you were right about one thing, bro. You're a legend. Thank you for protecting our state, the Jewish people. And thank you for showing us that a regular American boy could raise himself to the level of an Israeli hero. In every conversation that we had a ritual. I would say, "I love you, bro," in English. And he would respond, "Ani ohev otcha, achi." And then we'd hug. "I love you, bro. Ani ohevet otcha, achot, va'ani sholachah lacha achi."
להיות קרבי זה לקלל את הגשם, אבל להתעקש לצאת למערב בלילה.
Being a soldier is cursing the rain and still going out at night for an ambush. It's to understand the fear of civilians without knowing if they understand your fear. It's to glance at the setting sun and know that today has just begun.
Being a soldier is to ask yourself many questions about death and not to get an answer. It's to feel a bad feeling after a terror attack, but to still treat the Arab at the checkpoint nicely. Being a soldier is to dream about traveling abroad. It's to take a bite from the canned meat and to think about shawarma. It's losing brothers and sisters in arms, but not hope. Being a soldier is to shoot a cardboard target, but to breathe war. It's the madness in our eyes and the clarity of our minds.
Being a soldier is to know that even a brave soldier has fear in him or her. It's the past, present, and future. It's a hope and a dream, a sunrise and a sunset, mountain and sand, a falling star. It's always being tired. It's religious and secular, yearning and turmoil and chocolate milk. It's constantly holding a rifle. Being a soldier is to always think about the country and strive for more. It's to love people, to love this land. Being a soldier is first and foremost being a human being.
מיוחדים אנו עומדים, מופרדים אנו נופלים.
United we stand, divided we fall.